What's up and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. Gotta be a little quiet, it's a little early. And well, today is a huge day over at the restaurant project. It is our big concrete pour for the back patio area. I'm super excited for this. Let's get the day started. And I don't know why, but I have no voice right now.
Good morning, one night stand McDonald's.
Small black coffee, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hate fast food, but I love me some McDonald's breakfast. I also know why I had no voice earlier. My allergies are kicking today. Gonna add a fun element to today. Well, it was nice and clear at the ranch, and now that we've gotten into town, it's super overcast. Now on today's pour, we have a lot of joints that we have to cut into this concrete. So honestly, a little more time is better. However, there's that fine line of like, you want the concrete to start to set up. And on days like this, it makes it a little tougher. Alrighty, y'all, let's go get the day started. ¿Tenía el otro llave?
¿Llave?
Sí. Alright, gracias. Oh, it's nice and warm in here. Lights, camera, action.
We still have those 90s. Just turn it up. I don't think there's that much water up there, but...
And now, as you guys can see outside, we've got the entire area prepped here. If you remember, the dirt out here was crappy. So I brought in a couple of yards of DG. It gives us a nice, consistent base layer, because when that dirt was real clay-like, we can't really grade it out and rot it out to where it is nice and smooth. And when you have humps and stuff in your concrete, you are much more prone to get cracks than if it is a nice, consistent 4-inch thickness all the way through, which is what we have it set up for here. Now you can see the guys ran through this morning, and they went ahead and marked out where all of their joints are going to be. We also put in this deco drain, because all of the water, unfortunately, the way the lost design is going to shed towards the building, which is like, that's bad, right? You don't want that. So this deco drain runs the entire width of the building, ties into this box drain right here, and then this box drain sends it out into the street. But because we have so many columns, so many footings, so many curb ends and all of that, we have to cut joints basically on every single one of those. So every corner that you see here needs a joint cut off of it, because that's where the concrete's gonna want to crack. So for those of you that see control joints cut into concrete, that's the reason. You're trying to get the concrete to crack there, right? We all know concrete is going to crack. So we do our best to get it to crack where we want it to, versus out in the middle of the slab somewhere. Now you guys are gonna see the rebar sitting on the ground. Do not worry, you can see Abel's got a hook in his hand right there. What he does is, as we go along, he picks the concrete up, and then on the outside over there, you will see there is no rebar. That's because that is city sidewalk. That's not supposed to have rebar in it. So we have no rebar going there, and then no rebar in the strip on the backside of the curb there, because that is all city property, and they want to be able to tear the concrete out easy and not have a bunch of rebar in it. So again, you'll see Abel going through, picking the rebar up as they're pouring underneath it, and that gets our rebar into our concrete versus sitting on the ground. Bueno, Evo. V, you bring your trowels?
Oh, I want to put my footprint.
Go for it. They want it to be a little gritty.
Burying anybody?
Can't tell you, V. We can't tell you. How many yards did you order?
It's like 22.
see us pulling out a level a lot. We have to be very careful with the water here. Like I said earlier, it's all going back towards the building, but there's nowhere for it to escape because we have so many curbs back here. Sorry if my hat's a little wonky. So even though we have string lines snapped everywhere, we went ahead and set our grades yesterday ahead of time. We still want to make sure any of these in-between areas, the water is going exactly where we want it to. So you'll see the guys, you know, do a little 8 to 10 foot section, put the level on it, just make sure and double check that everything is going the way we planned. And one of everybody's favorite things to watch is the guys on the rod or the screed. So you'll see those guys work very well together in tandem. And when they do a good job of rodding, which is them on that aluminum rod over there, and what they're doing there is they are grading the concrete at, again, the appropriate slope, the appropriate level that we want it at. When they do a good job, it makes it easier for the guy coming through on the bowl float. And that's what you can see right here on this pole. That is the bowl float. So once they come through with the bowl float, that's when we let the concrete sit for a while until it starts to cure up a little bit, and that's when we can come back with our trowel. So while this portion actually goes pretty quick, we'll get the concrete truck poured out in a pretty reasonable time. Concrete started pouring about 25 minutes ago. So again, we'll get this entire thing poured out fairly quickly. This is the fast part, getting it laid down. Then it's a waiting game. And speaking of waiting game, you can hear the first truck behind me. He is completely empty. So I think we ordered about 22 yards for this pour. These trucks carry 9.5 yards depending on how heavy they want to load them. And well, as you can see, that got us about halfway there.
Easy day. Easy day. Where they the pour in the ranch?
What?
The concrete
What?
in the ranch.
What about it?
For the side for the driveway, no?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Not right now.
No.
Why?
Need more money.
This is expensive everything.
Now, weather today is going to be pretty ideal. As you can see, we are almost fully poured out and the marine layer is burning off, which now means we're going to get a little bit of sun, start hitting on this concrete, which is going to start to cure it up. Now, obviously, there's a fine line between too warm, too hot, too sunny, but I think, again, I think we're going to hit it kind of right in the middle today. It is supposed to get a little warm in the afternoon, but hopefully by then we've already got all of our joints cut and all of that, so we're not racing or scrambling to get those in before the concrete goes off. And one of the things that may or may not be an issue is the fact that we have this patio cover covering half of the concrete. So that half, depending on how the sun and the shade kind of sets today, that half's probably going to go off before this half. Well, y'all, you can see the guys are cruising along over here. We've got these guys out on their knee boards now. Everything is laid down. They went ahead and cut the joints. I got that on the time lapse, so you guys can see that later, but we were busy inside having meetings with sign guys and all kinds of other stuff, so I wasn't out here, unfortunately, filming. You can see we've got it patched back here in the alley, and then over here we had to patch the sidewalk. When we're doing the city sidewalk, we got to match what is there, and here it is, the 2 foot by 2 foot squares. So we got to cut all of those joints. I mean, there's just a ton of joints that have to get cut into this whole project. So you can see over here, we went ahead and matched the city stuff here, with the 2x2s. Again, everything's getting broom finished. The entire thing back in there is getting broom finished as well. They didn't want to opt for any type of special finish or anything like that, so broom is the cheapest and kind of the standard finish of concrete. Now, while we wait for those guys to finish up outside, let me give you guys a little flashback of the last couple of days in here and we'll get you caught up on what's going on inside. Yesterday, I went ahead and built out this other section of the bar. Now, you guys can kind of start to see the layout. The fridges got put in. I mean, this is just kind of their preliminary location. They originally were gonna go lengthwise there. They might still be that way, I'm not 100% sure. But we're gonna have 2 fridges back there, pizza oven, obviously. And then this is gonna be, there's gonna be heat lamps right here. And then we have our little serving window, whatever you wanna call it. Actually, it opens from that side. So kitchen can pass food out, food can sit right here. There'll be heat lamps until the servers come grab it, or it'll be slices of pizza or whatever from the big pizza oven. We did opt to shrink this down a little bit, which means now I need to cut this countertop down. I built it to spec per plans, but the countertop guy came by and said, that's a little bit of a pretty hefty overhang there to not have steel reinforcement underneath this so that the stone countertop doesn't break. And we don't want to put steel reinforcement. We'd actually rather just cut this back. So I'm going to trim off 5 inches off of this side. We'll slide this entire thing back, still keep that radius because I think that radius is cool. Floors are obviously uncovered and we still need to patch all of these holes because, well, this concrete is absolutely horrible. You can see the rocks all the way up there. You had maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches at most of concrete there, which clearly didn't hold up very well. So Dave wants to do some epoxy trick in here, make these like little showcases with some foil, gold leaf, and epoxy. We got quite a few holes to fill though, and the epoxy is very expensive. So we'll see how that goes. We did a bunch of tests, and anytime we tested it, we tried to seal up all the holes, but it's so porous. I mean, just to try to get in here and seal up every single hole, it's next to impossible. And every time we'd come back in the morning, the epoxy had leached its way into the ground. And so we tried different thicknesses of epoxy. We tried to get in there with clay and like seal it up. Now we're trying Flex Seal. And Dedek went ahead and Flex Sealed this yesterday and then got the great idea of trying to cure the Flex Seal and get some of the air bubbles out with a torch. Now, I've been around Dedek long enough. I said, hey, don't burn this place down, number one. Number two, I'm gonna go grab you a fire extinguisher because you tend to set things on fire. And well, we'll cut to a clip right now of what happened. Jesus Christ, guy. Hey dog, remember when I said don't light it on fire? Now, the front of this bar is going to match this bar and that bar. So I gotta get some copper put on, but we also need to get all of our mahogany, which, you know, this is not off the shelf stuff. This comes in a 16-inch wide piece of mahogany. We then cut down, we then plane down with the planer because we want it thinner than the baseboard. Just, you know, for that little detail, we like having that little edge detail right there. So this gets planed down, we router both sides, and then we have to finish it. So it comes looking like that. We have to stain it and then 2 coats of poly clear on top. Well, that's like a couple of day process. You know, you stain it, 24 hours later, you can poly it, and then you gotta wait another 4 hours for your second coat of poly, then you gotta wait another day for it to dry, then you can install it. So I went ahead and put a first coat of poly on these pieces this morning, and in 4 hours, I'm gonna come back, put another coat of the poly clear on there. Every detail that people look at and don't think much of takes a lot of time. We always try to make extra of stuff like this, so that way, you know, when we're polying and staining, make like 3 or 4 16-foot pieces of extra because it's a 3 to 4 day process if we need an extra stick. Unfortunately, this time though, we ended up running out. So by tomorrow, we'll have all the pieces ready. We can go ahead and install these, but I'll probably get the copper on today. We had to do the FRP, which is this black plastic stuff right here on the back side because this is a kitchen area. I do need to put it on both sides right there. So I'm gonna do that today as well. We went ahead and FRP'd behind the pizza oven. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, probably not, because it is super dark in there and this camera does not like the dark, but. And well, y'all, just like that, they are all wrapped up. I think, let's see, we started pouring out at 7, and they were done by 1 o'clock. I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic. We're contrasting directions on the brooming so that the bands right here that we cut for the joints, which again, if you guys don't know, control joints are just basically a way of us trying to tell the concrete where we want it to crack. So typically it's gonna wanna crack off of corners of buildings, or like the corners of the footings right there. You know, the corner of this little area we had to pour right here, or form up, that way we can pull out this post later. Those are all the areas that it's going to want to crack. So we strategically made our box in line with that column over there. That way when we go to cut our bands, it actually, you know, looks decorative. Now, of course, we had to get the obligatory little work for it engraved in there, because, you know, if somebody's going to mark it up, it's going to be me. But gotta say, this is like, to me, this is when concrete looks the best. As soon as it's poured out and broomed, and it has this darker gray color, obviously as it dries it lightens up, but this is like the best look right now for concrete. So we've got our sidewalk extension right here. That is going to be our gate, and then we're going to be pretty much next step, we are ready to start building our fence. You know, tomorrow we'll be able to walk on this. This was a huge step for this building. Super stoked to finally have this done. No more mud pit that we have to work in. One step closer to finishing. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you've not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, aka a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. Y'all are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.